specific one we asked earlier regarding weed and way, which is what type of action plan do you have prepared to spur businesses? Starting with you, Cecil. What type of action plan do you have prepared to spur businesses?
Well, we don't have an action plan in the city. That's one of my complaints about it. If I was controlling it, my action plan would be to go out and look for the businesses, find locations in the city, and then look for businesses that would be able to survive and prosper in that particular location. We can't, like I said before, we cannot sit here and wait for a business to come looking for us, because if we don't tell them what we have, they're not going to know. And if they don't know, they're not going to look for the area we've been to.
Well, one of the things I would do first is definitely continue to talk to our state legislators, our state senators, because if there's money available, I want to be able to access that. The second thing I want to do is then talk to the community, talk to the families, talk to the businesses. I want to walk around. I want to show them this plan. I want to show them the positive outlook it could be, and I want to get the businesses excited. I want to get business owners excited. I want to get the neighborhoods and the families excited. I mean, maybe someone in my neighborhood has a small business, which actually they do. I saw them on the waterfront selling beaded jewelry, and maybe she can get excited, and she would love to buy into this. But I want to make everybody excited. In order to get them excited, I want to make sure there's funds available and to show them the plan that's in place.
Okay, thank you. So we're going to keep coming back around to that same theme, but I'm going to sprinkle in a few other questions. So this question is, do you approve of increased taxes for higher salaries for elected officials?
Do I approve of higher taxes for elected officials?
For higher salaries.
I do think those that are making more money should pay a little bit more tax than some of our lower income middle class citizens. Do I approve of higher taxes in general? No, because there's a point where some of us are pretty strapped and we can't afford more taxes. For the higher income, yes, definitely.
And let me clarify, because it actually is, do you approve of increased taxes to pay for higher salaries for elected officials?
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, and actually, let me add, when I add that to pay for piece of the question.
No, and the reason.
You sure now?
No,
okay.
I do not think we can afford that as far as more salaries for higher paid individuals. We're pretty strapped as it is as lower income middle class citizens, and to accommodate someone else's salary, I don't think we should.
Thank you. Same question.
No.
Well, there wasn't enough round vote on that one, folks. You got the answer. Remember, you heard it here first. Okay. So on that same line of questioning is, can you explain your ideas on term limits, starting with you, Cecil?
Well, I think we do have term limits in a way, voters. Sometimes term limit sounds like it might be a good deal with a particular representative, but at other times, you get a good one in there, you don't want to throw him out just because he's been there for a few years. So it all depends on the individual that's in the office and what the constituents think about it. They're the term limits we have now. Thank you.
As far as term limits, I honestly believe that it's what the citizens feel. If they feel they want someone still in office for 2 years and they think they're ready to move that person on, then it's the citizens' choice. And if they feel that they're happy with the people that's longer terms or short terms, then again, that's the people's choice. And so I like the opportunity to vote and say, okay, I want change. No, I'm liking what I see.
All right, thank you. Well, I'm not going to get too far away from taxes since that is a popular item. So let me go back to that issue, which is, what is your position on the car tab tax?
My position on the car tab tax is, one, they brought it to the city. It was voted no. The city council just recently voted no on this. And as I'm doorbelling and talking to the citizens of District 2, majority of the people do not agree with the car tax. And the reason being is because it's too vague. Some people aren't sure it's going to be used for the roads. Some people think it's going to be a long-term frame, like 10 years. So I think if it's going to happen, it needs to be with a little clause and specifying what it's for and how long it's going to be for. But majority of the people I've talked to say no.
Personally, I'm opposed to the car tab thing. One, we put it to the people, 69% of the people said no. And secondly, you read what the charter and plans for the transportation district is. A good portion of that money is designed to go into sidewalks and bicycle paths, which will not do anything to help our street conditions. We have to find a different revenue stream for our streets. We had one for parking, but that was used for debt service on the parking garage downtown. But no, I don't believe in the car debt.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm going to come back to this probably for the last time. It's kind of a similar question to the ones that you've answered before, but again, from a different perspective, off a little bit. And the question starts with the statement that significant public investment in downtown Bremerton has brought about positive change. So what do you think can and or should be done outside of downtown?
Same effort. We put an awful lot of money, millions and millions of dollars into downtown. So far, it has not really done that much for the benefit area to the city. There's still plans to take Pacific Avenue all the way down to the park. And we get grants for it. We have to match those grants. And that takes money away from everything else that could be done in the city. And I don't think a fancy street is going to help this city too much. Once we get the city going, then we can improve the looks of it. But we've got to get something here first.
Thank you.
Can you repeat that question?
Sure can. Significant public investment in downtown Bremerton has brought about positive change. What do you think can and or should be done outside of downtown?
I love what they've done to downtown Bremerton. And the reason why I'm running for City Bremerton is I love what they're doing. I want that same flow here. I want that continuation on this side. Bremerton is not just downtown. It's not just Kitsap Way. It's not just Manette. East Bremerton is also Bremerton. And I would love that continuation flow to happen right here. And if that plan goes in place, both East Bremerton and downtown Bremerton are supposed to look unified. And eventually, I think eventually, if we get those in place, the businesses will come, the money will come, and the families will continue to live here and not move and leave our city.
Thank you. Okay, so this next question is actually a good question, and it is, as they all are. This one starts with a declaration of fact, and then the question follows. And the declaration of fact is, in the past, Kitsap County has contributed significantly dollars in Bremerton projects such as the Admiral Theater and Pendergast Field. So when Silverdale incorporates, the county will be in trouble. How much and how often would you reciprocate as the city council, I presume?
As far as reciprocating, I think I would reciprocate as often as needed. If someone calls me and says they need me to speak at something or represent something, I definitely would put it on my calendar to make it happen. So I want to be accessible, available as easily made known to my citizens out there and let them know that I'm available to represent them.
And if I may, just for clarification, I believe the question is pushing how much the Kitsap County has given money to the city of Bremerton for these projects. Would you be in support of the city of Bremerton reciprocating money back to the county? Do I have the question correct? I do have a question correct.
I would say yes on that. And because again, if we're going to get money from the county, I think we also need to help the county as well, because the county is Bremerton and we need to work as a unified group and definitely help each other out. Because in the long run, they might help me with something else and I might help them with something else, and I definitely think we need to be equal partners.
Thank you.
Well, reciprocating with finances would depend a lot on what the funds for Bremerton are. Currently, we have none. But we do, right now, we work with the county. We work with the port. We have agreements with both of them, which we support each other. But as far as Bremerton giving finances, money to the county, my first question would be, where would we get it? You know, I'm thinking about current existing. Now, we get up where we got a lot of surplus money, then yes, the county is in trouble, help them out, because they did help us out. But they had the money and we didn't. It had to be the same situation. We'd have to have the money to be able to help them out financially.
Very good. Thank you. All right, so this is a question of background, for your background, as regards to the work of the whole city council. What business and land use knowledge and experience do you have? We'll start with Cecil.
Business, I owned and operated a pro archery shop for 15 years prior to getting onto the council. My background is 20 years in the Navy, 14 years on the city audit committee, 15 years as a business person. And throughout my naval career, I worked part-time jobs for insurance companies, even drove a duty number truck, manufacturing companies, because our pay wasn't all that great. But I have a lot of background in business. I studied business law in California.
Can you repeat that question?
The question is, as in regards to the work of the whole city council, what business and land use knowledge and experience do you have?
Well, since I've filed to run for city council, I can honestly say I have attended every city council, every study session, so I know what the city is current on their issues. I'm a lifelong Bremerton person. I know a lot of people in the area. As far as my experience, I have experience in many councils. I've involved myself in volunteer in varied councils. I've secretary, treasurer positions. I was on an executive board for treasurers, so I know financial ends. I've been on negotiating and bargaining committees, so I know the negotiating and bargaining side as well. I've represented, I've worked with volunteer organizations such as PTA, school organizations, church groups, and so a lot of I've worked with $1 million and I've worked thousands and hundreds as far as budgets go.